Proverbs 21. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as are the watercourses. He turns it whichever way he wills. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs and tries the hearts. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. Haughtiness of eyes and a proud heart, even the tillage of the wicked, or the lamp of joy to them, whatever it may be, are sin in the eyes of God. The thoughts of the steadily diligent tend only to plenteousness, but everyone who is impatient and hasty hastens only to want. Securing treasures by a lying tongue is a vapour driven to and fro. Those who seek them seek death. The violence of the wicked shall sweep them away, because they refuse to do justice. The way of the guilty is exceedingly crooked, but as for the pure, his work is right and his conduct is straight. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop, on the flat oriental roof, exposed to all kinds of weather, than in a house shared with a nagging, quarrelsome, and fault-finding woman. The soul or life of the wicked craves and seeks evil. His neighbour finds no favour in his eyes. When the scoffer is punished, the fool gets a lesson in being wise. But men of godly wisdom and good sense learn by being instructed. The uncompromisingly righteous man considers well the house of the wicked, how the wicked are cast down to ruin. Whoever stops his ears at the cry of the poor will cry out himself and not be heard. A gift in secret pacifies and turns away anger, and a bribe in the lap strong wrath. When justice is done, it is a joy to the righteous, the upright in right standing with God. But to the evildoers it is dismay, calamity, and ruin. A man who wanders out of the way of understanding shall abide in the congregation of the spirits of the dead. He who loves pleasure will be a poor man. He who loves wine and oil will not be rich. The wicked become a ransom for the uncompromisingly righteous, and the treacherous for the upright, because the wicked themselves fall into the traps and pits they have dug for the good. It is better to dwell in a desert land than with a contentious woman and with vexation. There are precious treasures and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a self-confident and foolish man swallows it up and wastes it. Who earnestly seeks after and craves righteousness, mercy, and loving kindness will find life, in addition to righteousness, uprightness, and right standing with God, and honour. A wise man scales the city walls of the mighty, and brings down the stronghold in which they trust. He who guards his mouth and his tongue keeps himself from troubles. The proud and haughty man, scoffer is his name, deals an axe with overbearing pride. The desire of the slothful kills him, for his hands refuse to labour. He covets greedily all the day long, but the uncompromisingly righteous gives and does not withhold. The sacrifice of the wicked is exceedingly disgusting and abhorrent to the Lord. How much more when he brings it with evil intention? A false witness will perish, but the word of a man who hears attentively will endure and go unchallenged. A wicked man puts on the bold, unfeeling face of guilt, but as for the upright, he considers, directs, and establishes his way with the confidence of integrity. There is no human wisdom or understanding or counsel that can prevail against the Lord. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, but deliverance and victory are of the Lord. Proverbs 22. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favour rather than silver and gold. The rich and poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. A prudent man sees the evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished with suffering. The reward of humility and the reverent and worshipful fear of the Lord is riches and honour and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the obstinate and wilful. He who guards himself will be far from them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and in keeping with his individual gift or bent, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. He who sows iniquity will reap calamity and futility, and the rod of his wrath, with which he smites others, will fail. He who has a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he gives of his bread to the poor. Drive out the scoffer, and contention will go out. Yes, strife and abuse will cease. He who loves purity and the pure in heart, and who is gracious in speech, because of the grace of his lips, will he have the king for his friend. The eyes of the Lord keep guard over knowledge, and him who has it, but he overthrows the words of the treacherous. The sluggard says, "There is a lion outside, I shall be slain in the streets." The mouth of a loose woman is a deep pit for ensnaring wild animals. He with whom the Lord is indignant and who is abhorrent to him will fall into it. Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline will drive it far from him. He who oppresses the poor to get gain for himself, and he who gives to the rich, both will surely come to want. Listen, consent, and submit to the words of the wise, and apply your mind to my knowledge. For it will be pleasant if you keep them in your mind, believing them. Your lips will be accustomed to confessing them, so that your trust, belief, reliance, support, and confidence may be in the Lord. I have made known these things to you today, even to you. Have I not written to you long ago excellent things, in counsels and knowledge, to make you know the certainty of the words of truth, that you may give a true answer to those who sent you? Rob not the poor, being tempted by their helplessness, neither oppress the afflicted at the gate, where the city court is held. For the Lord will plead their cause, and deprive of life those who deprive the poor and afflicted. Make no friendships with a man given to anger, and with a wrathful man do not associate, lest you learn his ways and get yourself into a snare. Be not one of those who strike hands and pledge themselves, or of those who become security for another's debts. If you have nothing with which to pay, why should he take your bed from under you? Remove not the ancient landmark which your fathers have set up. Do you see a man diligent and skillful in his business? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men.